Hello guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to talk about the installation of Windows 10 to VMware ESXi 7 as a virtual machine. First thing first, you need to make sure that you have your ESXi working and function properly, as you can see. Second of all, make sure that you have data store created to host your Windows 10 installation. Last but not least, make sure that your networking virtual switch is created and enabled. As you can see, I got two physical network adapter connected to this virtual switch, and all these virtual machines connected to this virtual switch. That's the requirement. First step, you need to download a installation media officially from Microsoft. Let's search on Google, download Windows 10. And the first link appears to be from Microsoft, so I'll click on it. I don't want to update now, but I want to create a Windows 10 installation media by downloading this tool. So hit download tool now, save it into your disk, and once it's downloaded, you open this tool as you would normally do with any program. So once it's starting, give it a moment to get things ready. Depends on your machine, it will take a while. Accept the license agreement, click next. Do you want to upgrade this PC now? No. I want to create installation media. Hit next. In this page, you can select the language, edition, and architecture type. I will select English and 64-bit since I'm going to give it 4 GB of RAM. I need 64-bit architecture type. I'll download as a ISO file. So I select ISO. Even if you want to create a USB flash drive, you can still use a tool called Rufus to create a bootable USB drive later on. Now you can give it a name to easily remember for later on. So I'll give it Windows 10 2004, which is a May update 2020 for Windows 10. Again, this depends on your internet connection. I have fast, so it's pretty fast. See, fast forward is fast too. Now creating Windows Media depends on your system. Slow system takes a while to do it. Once it downloaded, you want to burn? No, I don't want to burn. I click finish. So now you got a ISO file to upload onto ESXi system. So open your VMware ESXi system by logging in, and now select the data store where you want to upload onto your system. So I'll select OS data store, hit data browser, and select the folder that you want to upload into. Hit upload and browse to your Windows 10 ISO file that you just downloaded. Hit open to upload. Here again, depends on your network. It can take at least 5-10 minutes, depends on your network. So I'll fast forward this. Once it's done, you can click on it to verify that the file name and is uploaded. So hit close. And now you can create or register a virtual machine. Click create. Give it a name. I'll call it download-VM. So I'll give it a name like that. And for the Windows as a guest operating system family and Windows 10 64-bit as Windows 10 version, and select the data store where you want to install to. So I select that data store, give it a CPU. So I'll give it a 4. Here you can select 2 core per 1 socket, 2 core per 2 socket, whatever, it doesn't really matter as long as it's got 4 virtual core. For the memory type, I will give it to, from memory, I give it a generic 4 gigabyte memory, which is very common. Hard disk, since this is a spinning disk, I'm just gonna give it 300 gigabyte of storage. And it's a spinning disk. I want a fast creation, so I select thin provision. Doesn't really matter, but thin provision takes a while to do a first write. So, but if you select thick provision disk, it take a while to create. So, 300 gigabyte of spinning disk, it will take like an hour to create a disk. So I don't want to wait. Select the network adapter that you want to connect to this machine, and then the CD drive. So go back to your ISO file that you uploaded earlier. Select the Windows 10 ISO file and click next. On the next page, you verify all the information that you just enter. So provision, thin provision, and a mode is dependent. There are 3 kinds of mode: dependent, persistent, and non-persistent. This is default this mode, so select that. Now the virtual machine has successfully created. Now you click on it and power up this virtual machine. Sometimes the boot up process takes quicker than the CD-ROM or user input, so you might see some error that doesn't start. So no problem, you can go back, power up the virtual machine, and restart it again. This one you got to do it quick though. So just power it up again. Click on it right away and hit any key to boot from CD or DVD drive. Once the CD-ROM is booted, you're in the process of installation Windows 10. Click install now. And this will take a while. I select no key, product key, and I select the version of Windows to install. I'll select Windows 10 Pro. Hit next. Accept the end user license agreement. Hit next. I'll go custom installation. So you can partition the type, partition the disk, whatever you want in this page, but I just select as a default, no partition any type. So this will take a while because it's thin provision disk. So it takes first it has to zero out the disk before it can write data onto the disk. That's what thin provision disk works, right? It will take a while compared to thick provision. thick provision, it basically allocate all the size for your disk and zero it out before it can write anything data onto the disk, right? So performance wise, I think provision and thick provision, thin provision and thick provision, in the long run they would run the same. It depends on, so it really depends on your situation. If I install this onto SSD, I would select thick provision disk than the thin, because disk creation is faster with SSD, right? So for spinning disk, I'll select thin provision. Doesn't really matter. So now I restart the machine. But it only affects the write, not the read. So pretty much now you connect it to the first thing that you need to disconnect your installation media from the CD drive when Windows boot up. So this is gonna take a while to install. This process is almost exactly the same as with physical computer. You can go through this same process with physical computer. All right. Normally, I'm just gonna select Canada as my region because I live in Canada. So wait for a moment. Select your keyboard layout. I'll select US. I'll skip to set up a second layout for my keyboard. And now we have some important setup to do. I don't know. Microsoft always has some important, to do. And setting up the network underneath. So, how would you like to set up? I'll set up for personal use. And I don't want to sign in with Microsoft. I will create an offline account. And I don't want to experience with full range of Microsoft app. Now I'm just gonna give a username, the offline username for my PC. Hit next. Give it a super memorable password. Give your own password and confirm your password. Hit next. So you can select any security question for this account. I'll pass forward. I don't want to do anything more with my voice and either use my location or find my device. I don't want to use any of that. I don't want to send data to Microsoft either. I don't want to improve inking and typing, tailor experience with diagnostic data. No advertising. So pretty much offline for this system. I don't want to do more. I don't want to use Cortana. It's a lot of things I don't want to use with bloatware from Microsoft, so I'll just disable it. Okay, we get everything ready for you in a moment. Will take several minutes. Depends on your machine, how fast your machine. It will take either really fast with SSD, really slow with a spinning disk. So I'll speed it up. This is like 10 times fast. If you follow along up until this point, you have now successfully created Windows 10 installation in VMware ESXi 7 environment. Last step will be optimizing it, organizing it after the installation. So first thing, you need to adjust the time for your correct time zone. So since I live in EST time zone, so I select Eastern time zone. Second, since ESXi complained about VM Tools not installed in this virtual machine, so I'm just gonna install VM Tools. Select Guest OS, install VMware Tools. In a second, you click on this window. This will pop up to notify for your installation of VMware Tools. Click on Run. Select Yes, and the beginning of VMware Tool installation. It will take probably 5 minutes for this to finish, so I might just fast forward. Click Next here, and I want to see what install, so I'm gonna select Custom, click Next, see what drivers, what video driver, what network driver is installing into my system. So by looking through that, I always do that. Excuse me. Hit install. So you wonder what VMware Tools does to your system. Basically, in the ESXi, you can hit shutdown, and the VMware tool will basically send a shutdown command to your virtual machine safely, as if you hit power down within the virtual machine. So now it requires you to restart your virtual machine. Once your machine start up, you log in with your password that you created earlier, and you just gotta have to do, if you don't need to do it, but I always do that, is to create a snapshot for my system. So excuse me, I'll take a snapshot. I'll give it a name like fresh install of Windows 10. So in case I want to revert back to this snapshot, I can always do that. Later on, if you don't want to do another reinstallation, because it takes like, for me, it takes about half an hour, 45 minutes. So by doing this, you can save pretty much a lot of time. So give it a description and hit take snapshot. Basically, after taking a snapshot, ESXi is creating a backup of this original fresh installation state of Windows 10 installation, just in case that if you want to revert back to this stage, you can safely do it without worrying about reinstallation, the whole process from the beginning. So that's the point. So this concludes our post installation of Windows 10 to VMware ESXi 7, and hopefully you enjoyed this video. Maybe you learned something from it, maybe not. If you like it or dislike it, please give a thumbs up or thumb down or comment about how I do this video. You're more than welcome to do that. And have a good weekend, guys. And I'll see you next week for another great video. Bye bye.